This is section 3.2. This is part 2. We just graphed this line and we have been plotting points. We've been completing some ordered pairs, and all the examples we've done, they've had us plug in zeros. Two big reasons for that. One, zeros make arithmetic very easy. So plugging in zeros makes things disappear. It makes arithmetic nice. Definitely an advantage just there. But the other advantage to plugging in zeros for x and y is that the points are easy to plot. If you have a 0 in one of these two positions, those points are going to cross an axis. We have special names for these. These are called intercepts. This one is called the X-Intercept. And intercept means if you intercept, you're running across something. This means this is the point where the line crosses the x-axis. And this one would be your y-intercept. Most lines have two intercepts. If you think about drawing a line somewhere on here, it's usually going to cross in two spots, somewhere on the x and the y axis. The only exception would be a line that crosses directly through the origin. And technically, a line like that crosses the x and the y-intercept in the same point, so it technically only gives you 1 point. That's a special case we're going to be talking about in a second. But finding intercepts is a huge part of graphing. It's one of the easiest approaches, and we use it all the time. Okay, so definitions. Intercepts are the points where a graph crosses an axis. To find the x-intercept, you set y equal to 0 and then solve to complete the ordered pair. Okay, so for this one, we set y equal to 0, we did our calculations, we found the x value that goes with it, plotted that point, that is where we cross the x-axis. If you were asked to find the x-intercept, you would enter 3, 0. You would not enter 3. Okay? The same thing happens with the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, you set the other value equal to 0. Okay? So basically, if I want to find the x-intercept, I need to make the y go away. If I want to find the y-intercept, I need to make the x go away. Here we plugged in 0 for x. We did our calculations. We found where our y-intercept was. Okay? So let's look at a problem where we are just asked to find the intercepts and not to graph. Okay? So to find our intercepts, we plug in x equals 0 and then y equals 0, and whatever points you get, those are your answers. So let's just say x is 0. So let's say x is 0. Plug that in. -3 times 0 plus 8y is equal to 48. -3 times 0 goes away. So I have 8y is equal to 48. I need to divide both sides by 8. And that gives me that y is equal to 6. Now all I have to do is to make an ordered pair out of this. Make sure you put your x value first, your y value second. 0, 6. We got rid of x, so this is our y-intercept. Now let's get rid of y. So let y equal 0. If y is 0 here, I have -3x plus 8 times 0 is equal to 48. 8 times 0 goes away, leaving me with -3x is equal to 48. Now I need to divide both sides by a -3. And that gives me that x is equal to -16. So my other intercept, make sure you put x and then y, would be -16 and 0. Now, one of the reasons I didn't want to graph this one is because the numbers are big, and just graphing making a grid big enough would just be a pain. But I could graph them. I could plot these 2 points, draw my line that connects them, and I would be done. That's it. Okay, so let's look at a problem where we are asked to find all the intercepts and then graph our answer. Okay, that means I need to plug in zeros. So say x is 0. It doesn't matter what order you do them in. You could do y equals 0 first if that's what you really wanted to do. If x is 0, let's plug that in here. 0 minus y is equal to 4, which is negative y equal to 4. If you remember a property from 2.1, when you have a negative variable and you wanted the positive, all you have to do is change the sign on both sides. You can also think of this as dividing both sides by a negative 1. But what I end up with is negative 4. So I have the point 0, negative 4. I got rid of x, so this should be my y-intercept. If I plot the point 0 and then negative 4, 0 on my x-axis is here, negative 4 on my y-axis is that point right there. Okay, so now let's try y equal to 0. X minus 0 is equal to 4, so of course x equals 4. That means the point 4, 0, x, and then y. I got rid of y, so this should be my x-intercept. I go to 4 on the x, 0 on the y, and I get that point right there. Now, intercepts are usually fairly easy to calculate. We tend to calculate them easy, they're easy to graph, and we tend to be fairly confident with them. If you are, then 2 points is certainly enough to draw your line. Okay? If for some reason you are less than confident about your calculations, you can calculate a third point. All you have to do is to pick some other number, any other number, and plug it in for either x or y. So any number, either variable. You cannot choose wrong. So let's just say I pick y equals 1, and I want to see what x goes with it. Okay? So that would be x minus 1 is equal to 4. Let's add 1 to both sides. And this gives me x is equal to 5, which would be the point 5, 1. Now my line should go through 5, 1, and if it does, I'm really confident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the x, 1 on the y. My graph does go through that point, so I'm very confident that I've done this correctly.